from another world. Sir?
This man is not a hero, he's a criminal.
Shut up!
Hello, sirs and madams. It's your buddy Admiral Teague coming to you live after an exciting conclusion to season 2 of Landman, where I gotta say it exceeded my expectations. If you go back to episode 5, I thought that this season was in a lot of trouble. At no point did we ever get a weak, terrible episode. The weakest episode of this season was still highly watchable, but at the end of the season, we saw a correction in episode 9 with what I would call return to form. By the time those middle episodes had concluded, we had gotten rid of a couple of things that people just didn't like about season 1. No more trips to the old folks' home. No more really mean-spirited Ainsley. We were lost for a little while there, but then in the last few episodes, I thought, especially in episode 9, we set ourselves up for an episode 10 that has changed my opinion of the season as a whole, and has me kind of excited for season 3. So without giving anything else away, guys, let's get some reactions. Let's start with Krimlon. Krimlon, what did you think, sir? You're muted. Oh, did Krimlon go AFK? All right, Jerm, you're up first.
Oh, before that, Ruby Hoove has made some donations.
Hey, I see that Phobos has gotten a membership from our friend Ruby Hoove. Ruby, thank you so much. And she has been a member herself for 11 months. Ruby, thanks for having my back. 11 months is a long time. It's a lot of loyalty. We're going to try to earn it for you tonight. People will surely come stumbling through later, and people will certainly be getting here after the show broadcast. So turn your notifications on if you haven't already. And Ruby, again, thank you so much for expanding the community and being a member of the community. A community that has gotten to see every episode of Landman with Germ and I. It's been a hell of a season. I thought it was a great build-up. I can't thank you, our audience, enough, especially Ruby who is right now the 11 months a member of the channel, and I thank you so much, Ruby. I appreciate it. It's a real pleasure to bring you guys some entertainment, and especially maybe underserved and underreported on shows like Landman, where gosh knows the first few episodes of this had amazing views, but only like later. The live Landman market seems to kind of just not be around, and after the fact conversations have had good responses. So welcome to all of you coming through later. You guys can also give us a like as we wrap up season 2. For the first time ever, we have gone in fully prepared, watched the whole season together, and now for the first time ever have a third season to look forward to. And I guess we won't be waiting as long as usual for this because Taylor Sheridan's deal is going to wrap up fairly soon. 2029 is the latest we could get it. That sounds far-fetched. I'm thinking 2027, probably right around the end of 2026, most of the season airing in 2027, the same way this one went down.
Yeah, I imagine we'll be getting season 3 sometime in November.
That's what I'm thinking. I think most of it will air in 2027. Is just maybe late November, you know what I mean? Or maybe early December, holiday time. But Germ, we had an incredible episode, at least I think so. What was your opinion here of episode 10 and what's been going on here with this season?
I liked it quite a bit. They were able to wrap up all the different storylines in a very satisfying end, and they got to the point I think they're aiming for when they thought this was the last season. There's a cutaway scene right at the end where I'm sure Sheridan designed that as his series, the fadeaway for the series.
And by the way, satisfying Sunday to you too. You know what? Getting to talk about quality TV is always satisfying. Krimlon, what did you think of this episode 10?
I actually really liked it. I think it wrapped up season 2 very well. It left just enough for you to think about what potentially could happen for next season, and that there more than likely will be a next season. I think it pretty much wrapped up everything that we were wanting it to. I think it went really well.
I got to agree. I wasn't expecting this. I think we all stand united on this one. In the middle of this season, we were all, hey, what's going on, Miss Katonic? Hello, buddy. Hepburn is here too. Ruby, of course, we said hello to. Istafobos got the membership. And again, to all you coming through later, let's see if we can't get the stream some likes, get it up to 30, and maybe beyond. It would be awesome. And we won't be using this banner much tonight because in this show we've had causality. I think we got lost in the middle. I'm standing by my theory. I think that they got hit really hard with woke criticism for what was going on in the middle in the early part of the season. I also think they left themselves open for it for a little while because I think that the old folks home was like an experiment in humor that failed. It was a worthy experiment. Taylor Sheridan works great with old people, and we all have to love that he has older cast members, and brings back beloved actors like Sam Elliott. And let's face it, it looks like America, right? This is a show about Americans. There are a lot of older Americans. The largest generation of Americans are older, including them in a family like soap with action style show. I don't know what to call this show. Is it a soap opera? Is it action? Is it a financial drama? It's hard to say. Is it a crime show? I
just think it's a basic drama.
I think we did gritty slice of life for the middle of the season, and we start and end with very high stakes stuff. But yeah, I guess that is basic drama, isn't it? So we get more action than usual dramas, and when we get a fight, it's real brutal. We get a dose of action for guys that might make the wife turn away. This is not for the whole family. I wouldn't want my kid below the age of high school watching this, and even that might be a judgment call for parents. I don't know. What do you think the minimum age for watching Landman is? 16? You got to be able to talk about this.
Oh, hell. Fuck that. I'd show that to a 10-year-old.
I think this is a PG-13.
It might be a PG-13. I don't have children, so what do I know? All right, so we're dealing with real mature themes here, and in this episode, we start again with another real good recap, which leaves us where we started last time and does something we've never landmanned before. The beginning, right in the beginning. Was anyone ready for this shocker? Right after the previously on the beginning of the show?
Yeah, that was
no opening segment. We have never done this before in the world of Taylor Sheridan. We established life on the patch. And Tommy's got a hunch. He relates to Sam Elliott. Dale's like, we'll all quit MTEX and go with you, man. Nobody cares about MTEX anymore. It's about like this company. It's about, us working together. Whether it be for MTEX or not, like, we are sort of a fellowship, like we all have been like doing this together for too long. I have confidence in you, Tommy. Let me know what's going on. And he's just like, stand down on like the patch. This is order to Dale, who's going to keep on doing his MTEX job for now. And Tommy's just sort of wondering why Tommy seems a little more confident than usual. And then the next step is we have Nathan and Tommy discuss what's going on. Nathan is told that when Cammy calls, she's probably going to offer him the job as president. And she does call, and he's like, she hasn't talked to me in like the whole time I've ever worked for this company. Like I met her at like the Christmas party kind of thing. And he's like, she's going to offer you the presidency. And he's like, wow. And then Tommy just kind of splits and goes about his business. Dale's, left. Yeah, he's still the MTEX guy. And Sam Elliott is wondering why Tommy seems to be feeling a little sly. And we find out that Cheyenne's car broke down. She stayed over, and she stayed in Sam Elliott's room. And we get like it's very controversial. And they're just like, he's like, God damn it, Dad, did you? What the hell? And like now he's starting to think that he's going to have a younger brother out of nowhere.
Oh God, it was the best view ever.
Yeah, it's great camera work on all these parts.
Cameraman knew exactly what to do and what the mission was.
And for those of you who were confused, yes, the battery is actually in the trunk of those cars.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even paying attention.
I didn't even notice, but yeah, okay. So now we know why Cheyenne. Now we know why Cheyenne was able to make a lot of money as a professional dancer. Here's the deal: for whatever reason, she is the only stripper who is not jaded. She didn't like hit Sam Elliott up for money to do some stuff with him or anything weird like that. Like he got to sleep.
What the hell is he gonna do?
Take some Viagra like Tommy did. Like, I don't know, yes. But like they're like, she snuggled with him all night. And like, maybe it's like a daddy thing or something, but it was like enormously satisfying and healing for Sam Elliott. And he's like, slept with her last night. And like, what? He's like, Dad. And he's like, we did not have intimate relations. We it's like, but it felt pretty damn good to hold a hot woman in my arms for the first time in half a century. And Tommy's just got to shrug. He's like, I guess it is good for your mind and body. And he's like, yeah, that's right, son. It's like, it wasn't half as difficult as your relationship. So Sam Elliott's got everything he kind of wants here. And like, it was kind of like putting him on the charger. He's up to like 3 bars of energy now. Anyone want to just comment on what happened? It was the best possible way to handle the Sam Elliott needs sex to be young again storyline that seems to have been dropped with Shelby, who we've never seen again. They built that character up and dropped her.
I think that Shelby thing might have been all in your head.
I think so too.
It's very possible.
Usually a lot is.
You just like brunettes.
There's a lot of things that go through his head, and not the right head that does the thinking.
That's true, but here's the thing: I was correct about the fact that there would be a May-December romance involving Sam Elliott. I had the person wrong, and then that's the most confusing episode because remember, Rebecca has that like cameo where all she does is say hello, and then we never see anyone at the table together. Everyone at the table is shot in isolation. And like a lot of the conversation doesn't make sense. And it also has a stitched together Sam Elliott conversation with Ali Larder. That was the most troubled episode. And that was the one that we all disliked the most. But that was full pivot. The episode 2 is where we had people like episode 3 had a stink on it. For this review show to get 12,000 views for episode 1 and to crater down to like a couple hundred. 4, 3, 4, 5. Something happened in that episode too, and I think it was far too tasteless at the old folks' home. A lot of people, there's been memes about how they hate Ainsley and Angela together. They had to reform Ainsley and Angela. They kept Ainsley in the background and they reboot her. She's only kind of mean to Cooper now, and even that might change. With Angela, they justified that she's a wild woman who also can calm down when needed to act normal if it's important, because she does that this week. She finally shuts up and listens when she's told, listen, you got to shut up and listen. And that to me was something of a surprise, but they had to pay her off and have her be a better person. We spent the whole season sort of trying to humanize the female characters. And did anyone else notice that Rebecca's hair was again 2 inches longer, indicating that we did have reshoots that changed her story or shot her at 2 different times with different hair lengths?
That's not the part of the body I was paying attention to on her.
Yeah. I watched
looking
it.
a little south of that.
Yeah, her hair was longer again this week. This was the original hair from when she runs into Charlie, who of course isn't in this episode because he's out with the Shallow Water Horizon drilling for natural gas. So Cheyenne we've put Tommy on the charger. He's got like 3 bars of energy now. Dale is very nice to Cheyenne. And then we see the wife of Galeno. And she's pretty hot and looks pretty good for her age too. And he's like, you go work Demi Moore for some information, or you go work Allie Larder for some information when you go have lunch with crazy Landman's wife. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Tommy and Ariana, he drops LVO off, and he LVO Jr. off, or whatever the kid's name, Miguel off, or I'm sorry, he grabs Miguel from the grandmother's house and brings him home. And Ariana is just a fucking wreck. She has been to the hospital. It didn't get beyond him tearing her clothes off, but she got beat up really, really good last week. And Cooper took things a bit too far. We don't know how far yet, and I don't know if they know how far things have gone yet. Things are happening in other places that we're not going to find out about till later. Cooper is home helping Ariana get through this, and she's been beat up and essayed, as they say in the YouTube business. We see the baby for the first time since like episode 2. He comforts his girlfriend. Tommy says, calls up his friend Charlie. Calls up his friend, says, meet me at Mr. Charles Steakhouse. And we got to talk some stuff over. At TCU, Ainsley is getting ready to do her cheerleader workout. There's a couple of quick technical cut errors here. It wasn't that it was pieced back together. It was this. There's men throwing the cheerleaders into the air and catching them and holding them on each arm. And then when we cut in close, it's women putting them down. So like we're trying to like get by with an all-female cheering squad to keep everybody happy here as far as the male gaze. And let me tell you, the male gaze was quite satisfied. As a male straight, my male gaze was very satisfied during this sequence. I loved the cheerleader sequence. And who would ever think that they would be able to give it weight? This cheerleader sequence had something that we didn't expect. I didn't think we'd see Tintin again, but Pagan is here. And Pagan seems like set up to be spiteful and to be mean and to be petty and to be a fucking asshole. And she seems to be paying special attention to Ainsley. And this seems to be going in a bad direction. Meanwhile, at the same time, Ainsley is struggling with this workout, and she says, wow, this is the toughest cheering session we ever did. And she's like, the girl next to her like laughs and goes, this is just the warm-ups. So now we know why Ainsley had that like letter of transit, like from Casablanca, the absolutely unquestionable walk-on to the cheerleading team. It's easy to be the best at her shit high school. This is like really challenging, and we've seen Ainsley has been serious about this, so she's struggling, and it looks like they're about in the middle of a whispering campaign to maybe get Ainsley cut from the squad. It looks like it's going in a bad direction. How did you guys feel about where this was going before we get the inflection point of the intervention where Pagan speaks to Ainsley? Up to this point,
I figured this was no different than any other vegan. Just this seems like the vegan lifestyle and attitude.
Jerem, what did you think was going on?
Assuming. I was assuming that Pagan would be mean and vindictive, but
We got something we weren't expecting at all.
Yeah.
We have done two things. We've done a thing that Taylor Sheridan really does like to do this season. So he accomplished this. He showed us the ugliness in a beautiful girl. And then today he showed us a spark of, like, I guess we'll call it beauty because it was humanity in what would be an unbecoming person to gaze upon. Pagan is androgynous, but now it's cleared up. Pagan's a she. Pagan's calling herself she. That's all cleared up. Pagan comes over to Ainsley and gives her some, tells her to sit down, and she starts taping up Ainsley's foot, and the conversation is very professional. And we suddenly realized, because this went through my mind too, like, shouldn't Pagan be talented if she's here? Shouldn't Pagan be good at what she does? Would she be so petty as to throw away her future career on someone she hated day one? Because she's had time to think about this. And when Angela didn't ream her out, I wondered what was up. And when the camera lingered on Pagan after Ainsley left, Paisley. When the maybe we'll ship them. But when the camera lingered on Pagan after Ainsley left with Angela, I was like, wow, she's thinking about this. So I wondered if this could go in a good direction. And what happens is, it turns out that this is actual professional take that gets signed off on. It's approved. Nobody finds this to be strange. The coach doesn't have a problem with it. No one questions it. The strength coach is going to go along with it as the implication. She correctly diagnoses that to help Ainsley, rather than have her wash out, she can give her a routine to strengthen her ankles, which is the problem with her whole regimen right now. Her ankles are not strong enough. And she tapes them. She tells her to come to practice early so that they can give her extra ankle support, and not to do the extra ankle workouts till after her regular strength routine, and that she should take her recommendations to the strength coach to get approved. So nothing untoward's going on, and making a pretty professional and pretty high quality sports medicine call where now it's like, I don't think that Pagan's too cool, but she might be able to work for my football team. What did you think of this, Jerm?
I think this is more of a way of Pagan trying to apologize. When Angela came in, it was such a tornado, and she made her feel so bad that kind of just shamed Pagan into being nicer.
It was weird. Angela actually managed to make somebody be nicer, and Angela is not really that nice. But Krimlon, what was your take on this? And when they start this encounter, where'd you think it was going, and how surprised were you that it was so professional and so, like, sort of, well intentioned?
It's land, Krimlon, but now I honestly, I didn't trust the scene. I thought there was still something going on behind the scenes. What is this person doing? But I'm inherently distrusting of people to begin with, especially when they've shown their true colors in the beginning.
Right, the vegan thing's never gonna get past you. She's the new Alex. We found our Alex.
Oh, no. She is not the new Alex.
No one's gotten that far yet, huh?
Oh no, the new Alex. I've already stated who the new Alex is, and she gets what's about to come to her at the end of the episode.
Refresh my memory. Is it Rebecca or is it Cheyenne?
Oh, what is her name? Owns the company.
Oh, Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to have a lot of time to hate on her next season. My opinion is we'll only have enough time to say goodbye to her and tell her that she's off the hook for this money thing, and maybe see her at the end when we pay her off one more time. But she, we spend a lot of time taking her off the hook in this episode in a way that makes me think we don't need her at all next season if we see her. We could film it now and just put it in later.
Probably true.
I would ask you guys this question. Yes, she is concerned and wants to apologize to Ainsley. My feeling is she was going to apologize to Ainsley no matter what. Here's the question. Is this call a difference maker for Ainsley? Ainsley can't keep up. Ainsley does need help. This special attention that she gets from the sports medicine expert is going to rehab her, or is going to strengthen her ankles within 6 weeks, which is plenty of time to be ready for cheering season. This was great that she showed up for camp, and it's great that Pagan knew to pay attention to her, even though it was for the wrong reasons. I think that this is going to turn out, at least in the mind of the writers, this is a difference making thing that Pagan is doing. That's my feeling about the taping, the preemptive taping, and the strengthening routine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's as close to a apology as can get at this point in time.
But she was, but it's also going to be difference making to Ainsley, isn't it? Like Ainsley wasn't ready for this. She does need the extra help.
I think with all the running in the beginning, she didn't realize that you needed to do a lot of cardio, a lot of running, and all the stuff that she had never focused on. Which, I mean, it technically is a college sport.
Right. There's a championship for this.
Yes. I mean,
there's a show all about cheerleading called Stumble, which I recommend. I strongly recommend Stumble.
I've never watched it. I would never watch it.
It's hilarious.
But if I did,
it's hilarious.
But if I did, I might get lost in it.
Okay, so what you're saying is you watched it. Okay, tell me that show isn't funny, but the episode where the cheering squad attacks the football team was hilarious. So anyway, I think this is difference making, and Taylor Sheridan here, he has had his say about gender identity. He has had his say about who plays in whose sports subtly, and he has had what I would call a pragmatic take on things. This was his windmill confrontation from season 1, where we talk about based stuff at the windmill. Ainsley now is sort of has this spinning around her, and we're really lucky that Michelle Randolph got all that exposure to the great actors in 1923. She's ready for this. She plays this whole scene perfectly, and what happens is whether or not this is difference making, after they have their nice little talk and get on the same page as far as we're not enemies, we don't know if we're going to be friends, but like we've buried hostility. Tommy makes it to they're in Dallas Fort Worth, I believe, they're in Midland, where he just like hitchhiking is different when you're rich. He hitchhikes a ride on the corporate jet from Nathan, hips him to his idea on what's going to happen in the episode. And then we switch back to the police station where the Ariana storyline's going on. The police women are unnecessarily harsh. Ariana looks like hell. We don't want to show it to you because we like Ariana, and she is just beat up bad. You'll see enough later. They're being dicks to her. She needs to see a shrink before she gets grilled like this again. This is the next day. Why didn't this happen already? These cops don't know what they're doing. Something happened, and we don't find out till a little later. And they're not going to tell us or Cooper what's going on, or Ariana. But the guy who tried to fruit basket Ariana behind the Patch Cafe died. He died.
Yeah, which makes this part completely irrelevant because there's no one left to charge.
What we find out later is his company is putting pressure on the police department, or so they say, to make a statement that you can't go around killing their guys when they get drunk in town, and that they don't know the story yet. So also they may have some influence with this police department, which we know Tommy hates these cops. He has mocked them. He's called them names, and he's only down with the county cop, who is, he has jurisdiction over the town, but I don't think he supersedes them. In town, they may have purview, and they can launch their own investigation. So he's having a problem with the county and the town getting on the same page, or maybe it's the city of Midland, whatever they want to call it. But Midland and whatever county they're in, they're not on the same page. This actor, Buddy knew his name. I forget who he is. And hello, Lombardi. Buddy says, I thought Pagan was doing ankle things as a way to mess Ainsley up and get into her head until the part later. After the conversation, I thought, at the beginning of the conversation, I thought that, but by the end of the conversation, I thought that by showing that she's a professional and doesn't have any grudges against Ainsley, she was trying to make it up to her, was my feeling by the end. It was a very effective scene that I felt differently about everybody at the end than I did at the beginning, but it was all very earned in a short time without a lot of bad exposition. They didn't talk about their problems. They talked about other stuff. It was very well done. The Ainsley Pagan scene was the height of this acting. And Miskatonic greets Lombardi. It's good to see everybody here for the final episode of Landman as we creep up to 13 concurrents. Hit those notifications if you don't have them on for the channel, and hit those likes and follows. With this Landman, finale being brought to you commercial free live, and with very, very, very limited commercials later. We'll probably have the first one maybe about now. But as you can see, the town police are a team of detectives, and they're just not overly sympathetic to Cooper, and they may just not have justice as their core motivation. As this goes on, it started to remind me of another movie where we had a guy being questioned, and he was just like saying things like,
I had a mechanical arm.
and then they made like an accusation.
How dare you?
And this seemed to be going that way. It looked like he was going to be going up the river for a good long time. And then we find out that they truly are terrible cops because they accuse Cooper of hitting him in the face 17 times when we all know it was 30. We counted. But these cops, kind of real dicks, and now beaming in to join us, having completed the episode himself, is our good friend. And let me just get over to the transporter here so I can get him up from the surface of the planet. It is Radioactive. Radioactive. Let's put a pin in this conversation for a moment right here. Hey, Radioactive. We'll take a pause at the moment where we opinionate on what we think the cops' motivations are. Where I would just quickly ask Radioactive, what did you think of episode 10? Satisfying?
We lose him already?
No, it's my mic. I'm having problems with my mic. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you right now. I think if I mess with your mic settings a little bit and just give you a little more power, you'll be okay. Go ahead and say something.
Testing?
Yeah, you're getting better. I know what to do.
All right.
Okay, so what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, okay. So if people can hear me. I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this would go a lot darker than it did.
That is true. Although it couldn't have gone worse for the guy who tried the fruit basket Ariana, as we found out. This is when they spring it on him. They're like, he died. He died. Like this guy that you beat up, that you punched in the face, they say 17 times, making them about the worst at math I've ever seen. He was hit 30 times in the face. Anybody?
Well, they said 17, but what's 12 more hits amongst friends, or 13?
Yeah, exactly, right. Although I will say this, this was something I couldn't see them ever getting a conviction on. This is now in the world of the show, things are not the real world. This is not the real Midland, Texas. This is not it's a fictional version of that town, if it even exists. I don't know if there is a huge oil patch outside of that town. If there is, this is the fictionalized version of that. Oil silos leak HS2. We know that, but aside from that, like when we played around with the law, we've played fast and loose more than anything else. The rule with this show is, as long as it doesn't upset our rule of common sense, that they're going to try to get away with it. And they've even been a little fast and loose with common sense a couple of times. The most challenging thing in this show is still the Rube Goldberg machine of how Monty played with money like a maniac. But these cops are like, they're grilling Cooper, and they go from, we've got a few friendly questions, to maybe the free jewelry is going to come out, and they lean in a little harder. And then the officer on the right says to him, Cooper says, well, what would you have done if it was your girlfriend or your wife? She's my fiance. And the colored officer, the black cop, says to him, you know what? I would have shot him, and that would have been defending her, and that would have been the end of it. But you beat this guy down. And then they said, how do you know how many times I hit him? He goes, we counted when we watched the videotape. And that's when the white cop becomes a little more alpha. And he's like, listen, man, this could go the easy way or the hard way kind of speech. And it's not good cop, bad cop. It's pretty bad cop and slightly worse cop. And the ball's in either one of their court as to which one is which at the same time. Neither one of them is good cop. And he's like, I think maybe I need a lawyer. And that's when the momentarily alpha white cop says, people who want lawyers are guilty. To which I say, people who take free legal advice from the police who are trying to send them to jail are called convicts in this world. I mean, maybe you're still guilty and you do get convicted, but you do not take advice on when to get a lawyer from the police. Guys, anyone want to give their thoughts on when you lawyer up when accused of murder?
They violated all of his rights. They didn't even Mirandize him.
Literally
everything they did was inadmissible in court to begin with.
They dragged him there the next day. It wasn't from the crime scene. It's not red-handed anymore. He had no reason to believe he was a suspect. He was allowed to leave the scene.
The fact that he said he should get a lawyer, and that they didn't even bother flinch at even trying to get him a lawyer or recused themselves. Yeah, that wouldn't have gone very well.
We didn't know they hadn't Mirandized him yet. It seemed like, Cooper was being the same guy who hired 20 very dangerous people with no plan to pay them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of an idiot.
Right. So we don't know what to make of what's going on here because Cooper's relative intelligence has been in play for a long time as a question. So again, guys, just for our audience's sake, is it the view, non-legal, non-professional view of the panel that if accused of murder, like when the cops start offering you free legal advice about how you don't really need a lawyer, yeah, you know what? You actually do need a lawyer. At least the time it takes the lawyer to get there while you think over how big of a deal this is, because you can't really be in much more legal jeopardy in the United States than this, can you? Except that more of the same charge.
I was told anytime the cops actually want to talk to you is when you need a lawyer.
You do not talk to any government officials without your lawyer present.
I cooperate with beat cops and cops on the street if they ask me questions, but I am a well-educated citizen whose father was law enforcement, and I know the law enforcement of my town. I may feel different otherwise. We always advise everyone to cooperate and comply with law enforcement. However, these guys are dirty cops, and that's what's going on in this show, this fictional show. So we don't know if they're dirty yet, but they certainly are trending towards dishonorable. And I don't care if it's Dallas. You're a police officer. You're a detective. Put on a fucking suit. There's summer weight suits. I don't want both detectives decide to wear jeans to work today. What is this, Miami Vice?
No,
I want some professionals.
No, it's Texas.
It's Texas, dude.
Yeah.
That is Texas formal.
That's called formal business wear in the Western U.S.
Yeah, the only thing you're missing from their suits now, I'd almost guarantee they're wearing cowboy boots. But the only thing that they're missing right there is their cowboy hats.
Yeah, coat and tie. Just so you know, coat and tie, that's a DC thing.
Yeah, you don't. If you wear a suit and tie in Texas, you pretty much just show you're an outsider immediately.
Well, no, Nathan has worn one a couple of times. He wore a suit to the biggest meeting they had with the with the other lawyers, and you're right though. Most of the time, he wears a suit jacket.
Shows you're an outsider. You said lawyer.
Well, yeah, but he's a lawyer for their industry. When he has shown up to do business, most of the time, Nathan will wear a button-down shirt, a suit jacket, jeans, and cowboy boots, sometimes with a tie. So you're right, different dress code. All right, that's the least important thing to happen here. They're telling him, don't call a lawyer. He basically takes their advice by calling the worst lawyer you could call, an insurance and negotiation and contract lawyer. And only Ariana is starting to get smart. And she's the one who makes the call to Rebecca, which is not the right lawyer to call, but this is better than nothing. So
this is better than pretty much anything. This is a nuclear submarine going up against a rowboat.
Look at it this way. If lawyers are sharks, this is a stainless steel shark designed by like the greatest cyberneticists ever made. And it has a killer instinct like you would not believe. And Rebecca is not to be messed with. She's a badass. And the show leaves us with no doubt that she's capable of this. However, in America, what happens is Rebecca says, don't say anything. I'm on my way. And on her way, she's calling a colleague with criminal experience. She needs one. And she's got she needs a criminal lawyer to at least wingman her on this. But in this show, all lawyers are the same. RRTNZ took mild exception to the scene and communicated with me about it. They're trying to get as much out of them as they can before the lawyer gets there. She looks pretty hot doing that kissy face, huh?
Anything she does.
Ooh, she is a beautiful girl. Tommy has a little bit of like a panic attack here on the tarmac, and Germ nails it. It was cut from a scene that comes later. We use his panic attack, which is from a different meeting, to set up his state of mind for what's going on. Okay, so Bella, the wife of Galino, has lunch with Angela, and it's Bella that tells Angela that Tommy's been fired. And so that kind of ends lunch pretty quick. She calls Tommy, and he says, trust me, and it's going to be all right. The only reason I didn't tell you is because I haven't solved this problem yet. And she's like, the one thing I do have no problem with is trusting you. And this shocks everybody who's been watching this show, because Angela till now has not been the most pleasant, trusting, or supportive spouse. And right here, she does all three in spades. I don't think it was so much a face turn for the character as for the show, to showcase that this was what she was always about. It was just, maybe it was rough getting back together. They're going to write off her early and season 1 bad behavior as that it was a little bit of a rough time in her life, ditching husband number 2 to get back to husband number 1. But this is her slowly getting back to being a more authentic person, true to herself. What did you guys think of how Ali Larder took the news of him getting fired and him keeping it from her? I did think it was infinitely logical. And by the way, this scene ends with him telling her, don't worry, it's not 2008. I ain't going to start drinking over this. No way. Which surprised me. And he takes a fistful of aspirin at some point. And it's at this point where I notice that so far in this episode, Tommy has not drank or smoked at all. And I'm starting, he's always doing it. So now it's been long enough for me to notice he hasn't. So assessing the scene, let's start with Radioactive, who just got here and saw this more recently than the rest of us. What did you think of the scene between Angela and Tommy on the phone after she finds out he's been terminated from MTEX?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little compressed, but go right ahead.
Okay, so I actually thought maybe she was going to go on one of her famous tirades again, but
we did say she could leave him.
Didn't.
Last week, we did say that was on the table.
That is true.
So continue.
Oh, okay. So, no, I thought this. See, let me run it through the scenes in my head. So, let's see.
This is where she has found out at the restaurant that Tommy got fired yesterday and has not told her yet. And she calls him up and she plays coy for a minute. And then she hits him with that she knows. And he's like, the reason I ain't told you is because I ain't figured out a solution, but it ain't 2008. I'm not climbing inside a bottle. And I think I've got a handle on this. And by the way, guys, we're halfway through our episode, this episode is not as important as focusing on the season towards the end of our review, which we're going to try to still get in the 90-minute time frames, because I think we could probably do it. So please continue, Radioactive. I'm very sorry, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry there, Teague. I would, well, anyway, I was going to say that, yeah, Tommy has a plan. He's working it out. And of course, as is usual in this show, Tommy always gets hit with something at the most inopportune time. So her calling him right when he's trying to get a handle on what he's going to do to line up his next, job, he's just going, gee, what else is going to go wrong today?
Something he should not have said.
Which is something, yes, which is something he shouldn't have said. Because
He
ironically,
accidentally-
it does.
For the second time in this episode, he calls out God, not in
Yeah.
the mean-spirited way. Not in the mean-spirited way. He's not being blasphemous in
no,
more
not
than
being
an ironic.
blasphemous, but more
He-
like,
I-
what else
if
are you
you-
going to hit me with
you're
today?
if you're
Oh!
a biblical literalist, he is being blasphemous, but you would have to be such a literalist. What he is like he's been talking to himself for a couple of episodes now when there's no one around to hear his based rants.
I was going to say, if you're going to use a biblical reference, it's like Job. Tommy has become Job.
Or Jonah in the belly of the whale. But
Well, yeah, that could work too, I guess.
What happened was when he got off the plane, he's like, God, what are you going to throw at me today? And then in his truck, he again says, like, God, if you got any more to throw at me, do it now. And when he says that, like a series of like a car loses control and a multi-car pileup starts happening all around him. It's pretty well filmed. It's pretty damn frightening. Everyone who's ever been in the proximity or driven by a bad enough auto accident knows to be afraid. I felt tension in the scene, very effective. And when it all comes to a halt, it happens again for a moment. Like it all stops, and then an 18-wheeler like takes out a fucking SUV. Absolutely stunning stuff. The whole car accident was well filmed, and Tommy gets out and like he's had an epiphany. He was already in a weird place, and this just like accelerated his epiphany, and he looks at the carnage around him. I guess that's a truck full of horses or cattle or something like that, but it's been bad. And the only thing that I thought about this scene that I didn't like was we pull the A-Team / G.I. Joe thing where a couple of these car crashes were absolutely unsurvivable, and we're going to show people crawling out. Get out of here. We saw at least 3 fatals. This was a horrible pileup.
Yeah, only that one in front there would probably be fatal. Everything else is still nice and upright.
We see one that we don't see again where the car rolls over and the roof caves flush to the body. This was a bad, but we saw more drama than we see aftermath. But then meanwhile, back at the police station, Rebecca comes waltzing in, and as our fans can see, Rebecca's hair was just below her chin, maybe an inch below her chin 2 weeks ago, and now it's back below her shoulders. Meaning either this is a second reshoot or we reshot in the middle. I tend to believe we reshot in the middle where we were a little lost, because this scene can work without Charlie. There's no reference to him. We got him out of there in time so that he wouldn't need to have any involvement in this. He's out at the shallow water horizon. Yeah, exactly. He should not have made that. Yeah, right. Nothing was on fire. That was a terrible car accident, though. Terrible series of car accidents. Rebecca comes walking into the police station, and we find out that that moment earlier where the insurance company got the better of her, while it was a momentary correction, the show has decided that being a bitch is not going to be a superpower for her forever. And what they do is they sort of they took her down a couple of pegs in that episode. But now in this one, being a bitch again seems to be a superpower. She goes in there. I guess she's had a couple of minutes to Google around on the phone. The cops show her some surveillance footage. She's not impressed. She tells them, roll it back. There's some worse stuff that absolutely exonerates what happens. No jury's going to buy it. No Texas jury's going to buy it. No New York jury's going to buy it. No Boston jury's going to buy it. Not even a San Francisco jury would need more than a few days of wondering how bad it was. This was a clear-cut case of defending her, even though I would say that they do mention a thing that's real life in every state. There's just different names for it. I've seen people on X trying to shit disturb when you trace the accounts. They're never Americans, saying that this or that person is being illegally, is being hassled because they fired a gun to protect themselves in New York City. To which I say, you can have a permit and carry a gun correctly in New York City. And, why is someone in Nigeria claiming to be a New Yorker saying these things that I can't find in the New York Post? So, check your stories about this. But what's going on here is the situation as explained to him by the cop. We're not legal experts, but this did not offend our sense of right and wrong or how it would work out in most parts of America. Self-defense goes so far. Okay, self-defense goes so far. Then there becomes a part where, quote, you become the aggressor. This happens in every state, but there's different names for it. Some
temporarily
states
insanity would be one of them.
Temporary insanity is the flip side of the same coin. If someone attacks you, you do not have carte blanche to delete them. If you brush up against me in public, and it's kind of impactful. It is an assault. It is a battery, and I might be able to respond. I'm on shaky legal ground, but by the letter of the law, I might be able to respond. But that doesn't give me the license to delete you.
No, but I think something like this would be a good case for a potential. Well, we already knew where it was going to end up going. The fact that he knocked her out, and
he did so many aggravating things. He was trespassing criminally. He'd been beat up at that
even
bar
further,
before.
where she could have been been unalived. Let's just say during that time period. So
he hit her in the head with a bottle or a rock.
Yeah. So I mean, there's plenty of justification, especially in Texas, like you said.
He went back to a place that he got beat up at before for fucking with her and calling her out and saying istophobic things to her and being a piece of shit. Also, he's presented as the asshole from back east, isn't he? He's from Chicago or New York, and he's got a big mouth and he thinks who he is because he's got some bucks, and he just treats her like shit. And
yeah, I think that's what it was.
And I was creeped out, and I'm not easily offended, but when she said to him, go away, you're trespassing, she was in the right, and she just wanted him to go away. She didn't say, like, I'll have you arrested. She's just like, go away, you're trespassing. And she gives ground and wants him to leave. And he's like, you're trespassing, which brings it into a new context. So it's not just that he's hot for her. He also has some hatred that's of, like an irrational and inexcusable nature in our society that we don't believe in. And we don't condone. So he hates her just because of the way she was born, which is not our thing. So he starts beating her up violently, which we also don't condone. And that's when Cooper happens on the scene. He interrupts, and he gets a little too detailed when he describes what he does to the cops. For one thing, he's being in his idiot self. However, almost no jurisdiction would charge, never murder. This is a case of aggravated manslaughter. At worst. Anyone on this one? And we're guessing. It's a TV show. It's a fictional situation, and we're guessing. Go ahead. This seems like manslaughter.
Aggravated manslaughter is a stretch.
Like I said, at worst. Yeah, okay, so you're with me on this one. Crimlon?
Yeah, I still think that they could, with the way things went, I honestly think that it's probably a plea for temporary insanity, which...
Oh, he'll probably get that if they have to go to court.
It would get off almost immediately. That and the fact that I highly doubt it would ever be convicted, just because of the video evidence showing what happened, would be just as like what's her name stated. There's no way in hell you'd ever get anyone convicted.
I'll show this part to the jury every couple of minutes. Also, then we find out that these two cops are shit. They're shit cops. They should have been fired. Why they're detectives, no one knows. One of them fucking put 11 shots center mass into a guy with a pipe wrench, showing that he has no idea of proportionate force himself. And he's the one who seems to be pushing it more. Excuse me, Jeremy?
That is 100% proportionate force. If you're going to shoot him, you shoot him with all you got.
We have different opinions on that one. The military use of force is that. The police use of force, I don't know if this has been changed, but in my jurisdiction there's people who can get hit by a misfire. You use as much force as you need to keep yourself safe, but discretion is involved. No police officer in New York City would be convicted for doing what this cop was said to have done the way she said it, and we don't know. But the way she said it, you might be fired from the NYPD, but you would never be convicted of anything.
I don't even think it's
just to be cleared.
I don't even think it was about that. It was just more of the fact of trying to show that the one, the pot calling the kettle black. So he basically trying to prove that he what he's saying versus what he's trying to say about Cooper are two totally, they're basically the same thing, and he knows exactly what he's doing is wrong. Even though he may not have been wrong, it's just more of she could paint that picture very easily and make everyone believe it.
Not yet. Not only that, but it's a controversial, newsworthy thing, and she seems to have known right about it. But we got a $2 Greenlandian super chat from our friend JT Kirk from the Star Trek panel. Great Star Trek work last night, sir. We were lucky to have you for as long as you did. You did a great job. And if you had a chance to listen to the end of that broadcast, I think you'll be very satisfied in how well that one went. If Ainsley's top fit doesn't fit, you must acquit. I met Johnny Cochran. When I was in college, I worked at a gas station, and a Coca-Cola machine fell on a kid. It was really fucked up. The gas station company was completely responsible, and everybody who worked there had to go testify. I testified too about what I knew. It was no big deal. But when I was walking out of the hallway, they said, "Sir, this is Johnny Cochran, and he's defending NFL player Lomel Brown, who was hit in the eye by a penalty flag." And I said to Lomel Brown, I was like, I really hope you're okay, and I think you're a great football player. And I just ignored Johnny Cochran. And I feel a little bad about that, because I think he did a lot for our civil rights by making sure that the kind of thing, OJ was guilty, but he shouldn't have been convicted on the evidence the way they gathered it. So it was a roundabout way of getting a better criminal justice system. Although OJ didn't pay for what he did in that crime, there was a measure. But I met Johnny Cochran. It was weird, and he didn't seem to like that. I didn't want to shake his hand. RRTNZ is here. Yes, Jerm.
No, I was going to say RRTNZ is $10.
Would you do me the honor of reading our good friend RR's chat, Jerm?
See if I can actually pull it up.
If it's a problem, I'll read it.
Rebecca almost did some good criminal lawyering. All she needed to do was show there was zero chance of conviction in a jury trial. No need for the class action lawsuit, extortion there.
Yeah.
It's a TV lawyer.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. RR and I talked about this a little bit, and thank you for reading that, Jerm, and thank you, RRTNZ, for that very generous super chat, sir. Here's what my take on this was. When I rewatched it, I rewatched what you said in mine. What she did does make sense in the context of this. She didn't call a criminal lawyer to come in on that with her, and her only I have reassessed the scene as this. Her only goal was to stop the questioning right now till she could get help, because she did say to Tommy, "Get the cavalry here as far as backup. I can't handle this myself." So she was counting on Tommy to send the criminal lawyer. She was just going there to stop the questioning is my goal. What does everybody think of that one?
I think she felt she was a little bit overheard, so she decided to go nuclear.
But the goal is to stop the questioning. And here's how we saw it last week. This is the part where the guy's abusing Ariana. So as you can see, very improper. But thank you so much. And like I said, when we rewatched the scene, my thought was she knew she needed help and had said so. So I noted that. And then when she went in there, she did go full nuclear, like Germ said, because she was terrified and in over her head. So she overplays her hand. But the thing is, these cops are so compromised, so dirty, and doing this as a favor that their hearts aren't totally into it, especially when it's not looking like a layup anymore. And her only goal is to stop the questioning right now till someone better gets there. That was my takeaway. Guys, react to RR's hypothetical and my answer. Do you think she played this one hard just to stop the questioning? That was her only goal right now. I got to stop the bleeding. Jump ball.
No, that may have been part of it, but let's not forget she's also kind of pissy right now because her boyfriend's out of town, and she is looking to tear somebody apart.
She probably ran out of batteries. But I think...
Look, let's be honest. Rebecca and her good friend, personal massager from Strange New Worlds, They have an on and off again relationship. And obviously they had an argument earlier in the day.
Yeah, it died from overuse. Charlie's been gone for 2 days. I think she's still okay. But yeah, okay. She does come on strong, but she does get the questioning to be stopped, which is the important thing. And as we jump ahead, like we said, that scene plays out. She asks for help. We go back to the cheerleader scene, which everybody loves. And the cheerleaders are getting jeered and hooted at by these middle school kids. And they start making fun of Pagan. They misgender her. They call her different names, and basically act like the middle school kids they are. And Ainsley walks up and channels pure Angela, tears them apart, dares them to whip out their manliness, and shames them into leaving. And when she walks over, the coach is like, you know what, Norris, you need to get your kicks up higher. And as she turns to walk away, the coach goes, standing up for your teammate on day one, though. I like that. I like that. So I thought the cheerleading coach said what every coach should say. Well-constructed conversation, and Ainsley showing that she can be cooperative and acceptant of the olive branch that was offered to her. Here's the coach congratulating her. And then she talks to Pagan again a little bit, showing that she can accept an olive branch without turning it into a flaming whip of mockery to thrash her opponent with. And now these two, you know what? They're so opposite that they might be kind of good roommates for each other. Ainsley needs to be less sheltered. Both people are too much. You know what I mean? Ainsley is brain dead, and she is just too much. And Pagan, while has shown that she's got to be pretty smart to be in sports medicine, and has made an accurate call in the field to help her person that she had the difference of opinion with, she's not neither one of them's holding a grudge. Neither one of them knows for sure that they can work together. All they know is, why not give this a try? We came to college to learn our crafts. I want to be a sports medicine specialist. You want to be a cheerleader. And maybe we can make the ferret stink a little less and make some concessions and compromise. So we don't know if it's going to work out, but they agree to compromise. And I thought that the scene it was really well handled. Last week, we hated this character. This week, we were sort of like, why can't there be more people who act like this? Conciliatory. Like, we don't have to agree with everything about Pagan and the way they live their life. But Pagan's made a couple of decisions. She firmly goes with she. She's not pulling any of that nonsense anymore. She's got she's a little more secure in who she is, whatever she is, and she's not totally saying, but you know what? Like, she could work for my football team with that level of dedication and making that call, and also for burying the hatchet. I thought that this was a rather touching scene. What did you guys think?
It's good to see that Pat's employed.
I'm Pagan's not gonna be anyone's favorite character, but it's there to redeem Ainsley. I think it's good for Ainsley to have this storyline.
Yeah, it's good growth for Ainsley.
It's also a great woke smoke screen. It's like, we are showing off the goods with beautiful 30-year-old Michelle Randolph playing Ainsley. And then we've got a androgynous character who has a totally different take on femininity in frame at the same time. So you can say, hey, look, they got equal camera time. Leave us alone. Taylor Sheridan has shown a real expertise at getting us our beautiful women while keeping criticism at bay without compromising the integrity of the scene. I admire him when he does stuff like this. This was a really well-conceived shot and a really well-conceived sequence of events. And they both cemented their place as normal human beings who can get along and to have some disagreements and still bury the hatchet, and good teammates, which is something that you go to college to learn how to do, be a teammate. So I thought good character growth for Ainsley and an arc towards the positive. And this is the time to note, we have just dropped that automobile crash that featured the self-deletion going in front of the M-Tex truck. which totally vindicates and validates what Germ said, that he thought it was Ainsley's ex-boyfriend getting depressed. We have not talked about that at all, and we have gone back to that scene to talk about every foot of the accident scene, all the skid marks, all of the signs that need to be put up, the legal jeopardy. We got in really deep, and that scene serves absolutely no purpose now, as does the envelope given to Angela by Ainsley's stepfather of whatever, those 7 years that she's not with Tommy. So Ainsley and Angela have a nice little talk. Mother, daughter, it's the most supportive and maternal that we've seen Angela be. She's really having a strong episode as far as showing off good qualities. It's a nice break from the harsh hectoring of the early season. And here we have the meeting with Cammie and Nathan. And we had mentioned that Colin Fiore was a pretty big actor and had done some pretty big roles and had been a powerful villain character. And while not a villain, Cammie now fulfills the prophecy of Tommy that the job of vice president of MTech will be offered to Nathan. Nathan is not got a trace of Neil left in him. He is a new man the last couple of episodes. Ever since he dropped his HR complaint against Rebecca, it was his little flex, which is another storyline we just give up on. But ever since he decided it was going a bit too far to go against Rebecca, and that company, they don't work for it anymore, so that's a dead issue. When she offers him the MTech deal, he tells her a few things. He's like, this revelation you gave me when I came in about this pile of documents and old computers from 2005 on the floor, yeah, I knew about that stuff, and it was my job not to talk about it. And you know what? I understand deniability of responsibility. Monty was a madman with this stuff, and what he was doing was pretty criminal. So he wanted to be able to burn it quick. And Cammie's like, well, you know, I still got a taste for this whole oil prospecting thing, and I think you're going to be a great president. He's like, no, I ain't. I quit. I came here to tender my resignation. And she's like, what? He's like, listen, I've been with Monty a long time. I've been in this business even longer. I know everything about MTech. So I was here when it became anything to be talked about. Yeah, in your garage, he had the idea, but he didn't have anything to work with till he talked to me. We hammered this out, and I'm telling you right now, he did not design this company to be a long-term thing. He burned this company. He burned the candle at both ends and pushed this company as hard as he did because he wanted to sell it and get out of the Landman business. Now, whether he wanted to be Governor Monty or President Monty or Country Club Monty or whatever he wanted to be, he wanted to be done with being a landman. And this, the shallow water horizon and the rework patch were his ticket to prosperity and being out of the business and selling MTechs. He was just about on the verge of doing it, and that's why he wasn't so concerned about having a 5-week gap between paying off of his assets and his loans coming due or whatever it may have been. So Colin Fiore here, he's extremely powerful in this scene, and he tells Cammie, sell this company because that's what it's designed to do. I cannot run this company in good conscience because I know it's not viable long term. This company was meant to find oil and get sold at its highest point of profitability. We missed that window. But with this shallow water horizon thing not being a mess yet, if you sell right now, you can walk away and everything will be cool. Tommy had cold feet because he was right. And by the way, I quit. And she's just absolutely floored. She doesn't really so much view it as a betrayal, but she just doesn't have time to react much. He's just like, that's it. It's not going to work. He drops the mic. He splits. And we go join Tommy at his lunch meeting. Let's take this back a frame and talk about what we thought about Colin Fiore and Demi Moore's. What I thought was an extremely powerful performance by one actor who never really quite got to be a marquee name, and a marquee name who never quite earned the marquee status and then sort of flamed out, both showing you that under different circumstances, their careers could have had a much different trajectory. I thought this was great acting all around, no matter what else you thought about the circumstances of how Monty set up this corporation. and we will throw this one. He? That is true. We've mentioned that before. Let's go with the shoot around. We'll start with Radioactive. This was a pretty good scene, and I know you've loved Colin Fiore in this show.
Oh yeah, he's good in this show, even though he's only kind of considered a supporting role, guest supporting role in this. But I was actually starting to think when this scene started that that maybe she was going to catch him red-handed in something a little bit nefarious. Is where I thought maybe they were going with it. I wasn't quite sure until we got to the end of the scene.
It did seem like he was ready to set other people up to take the fall for this $44 million, this $400 million, and this misappropriation of funds, which isn't quite as bad as it's being played out on the show, because they'll have the money to pay it off just a little bit late. Okay. Anything else on this one?
Well, I mean, as we'll find out without getting to the rest of the episode yet, it's going to make a lot of sense as to why he does what he does here in the next coming moments.
I want to make a quick observation. I believe the tapestry behind Cammy is a frame from a series of illustrations of Custer's Last Stand by a guardian witness named Runs His Horse. White Man Runs Him. Was the name of the native fellow who made the tapestry. So I believe that she's got a frame from Custer's Last Stand behind her while she's getting taken down. Chief Blue Meanie, call Meanie. Yes, I like the wordplay. Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree that before Pagan is probably going to get some really bad sunburn, and I hope she's wearing very heavy SPF. But let's go to Krimlon. Krimlon, this was a pretty big scene. What did you think of these two actors having what I thought was a powerful confrontation?
I think she got exactly what she deserved. I'll be honest. I think she got really cocky with the way she was handling things and thought she knew better about everything, and immediately got slapped. And it was pretty it was pretty good acting on her behalf. With the shocked
She's
look
been
on
good
her face.
all season.
Yeah. The look on her face when she was expecting, he was just gonna accept the position. Just the look on her face looked like shock and betrayal almost immediately.
He's like, oh yeah, about that, you're nuts.
Yeah. I think everyone started realizing how crazy she's starting to go, and I think she deserved to be told that she's basically lost her friggin' mind.
She still can get out of this with something like $250 million is her golden parachute if she just stops. Even if she fails, she gets that. But she's going to gamble this $440 million with a known drug dealer because Monty started the company. It doesn't make any sense. At this point, Colin Fiore just parts ways there. He's like, you got your hard drives, you got your documents. I'm not going to tell you whether to burn them or not, but those things are radioactive. See you later. No offense, radioactive.
Hey, don't you mean toxic?
Those things are toxic. Yeah, that is a super fun site. I advise you to just bury that at sea.
Yeah, that's some toxic financial paper she's holding.
This guy,
to me,
we've seen this guy before. He is a powerful executive for one of the bigger oil companies. It could be Chevron, it could be Texaco, it could be Getty, it could be Shell, it could be Sunoco. He's a big time oil guy. And Tommy's telling him about what's going on and asking him if he wants to back their venture in the patch, as well as, and he's like, forget the shallow water horizon, which I don't think they have anything to do with anymore, except that their backer and the shallow water horizon backers are the same. And this guy's like, Tommy, that is a crazy high risk thing. How about this? We buy out most of MTEX. We hire you to run the MTEX part of what we buy. I make you a vice president, 6 figures, corporate jet, expense account, whatever you want. And Tommy's like, no, I've got ideas of my own. I got a hunch. I'm going to play it. I'm going to let it all ride on this. I've got some Landman and ideas of my own. And then we have a little more breakdown of Tommy where he just sort of has another moment of just like, this is pretty overwhelming, even if you're as based and as nuts as Tommy. And it's slow-mo and the sort of handheld and the camera moves around him. And, you know, we can see here why our great actor is earning his pay. He looks troubled. He looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he looks like a man who's $44 million in debt to a drug dealer. He just refreshed the loan that he undid when MTEX was solvent in episode 3. Cooper is the moral, probably the moral center of the show, him and Ariana. I would say this, though. Cooper's intelligence took so many blows this season. He's dumb.
An idiot. God.
He's a lucky idiot. He really is. His one stroke of genius was figuring out the patch, which shows that everyone else is just kind of negligent now that he's the one who figured it out. But whatever.
He's an oil savant.
He said, there you go, Jerm. And this is when Tommy calls Angela and squares some stuff up with her, tells her, get to the airport. We'll flatbed your truck back to Midland. We've got to talk. It's all bad news. I need you right now. And she's like, all right, I'm there for you. And he goes in and he meets with Galeno. And he does that deal we talked about. Galeno agrees with him. He agrees that the shallow water horizons are such a long stretch that he probably won't make his money back, so maybe he should diversify. And by the end of this, he's up to like something like $500 million loaned out, $440 million to Cammy, and about $50 million to Tommy, $44 million. $40 million plus $4 million to cover the debt service he's already run up. And he writes his check
plus
out.
18. So he's at 62 million to Tommy.
He owes. He's in deep to Tommy and to Tommy and Cammy are in deep to him. But
Admiral Teague, incoming super chat.
Radioactive, a member of our Q Continuum, says Radioactive Actual says Land Boy equals Oil Rain Man. He goes, that's a good analogy, Radioactive. Way to go. You know what? For having some good analogy, you get to move up the totem pole, and Crimlon gets to go to the bottom and get covered by the super chat. Congrats. Thank you, Radioactive.
Woo! Oh, wow. It's like, so how much oil is there? Oh, about 100 barrels a day. Definitely 100.
Trillions of square feet of gas. Definitely trillions of square feet of gas.
Definitely trillions of cubic feet. Definitely
renewable resource. Millions of square feet.
Yeah. Time for Wapner. Time for Wapner.
Thank you very much, Radioactive, with the 2 Greenlandian greenbacks. I think that's what I should call the dollars from now on. What do you think? Should U.S. Super Chats be called Greenlandian greenbacks until the situation's resolved, or is that too real?
No, I think that's apropos. I mean, since they're
going to be funny
pretty soon, so
we don't know about that. But yeah, hey, if they have oil, maybe Landman will go there.
I think we do. Germany, just the other day, Germany sent a whole bunch of people there. On a side note, and guess what?
They trying to go 0 for 3.
Now they just left again.
They're trying to go 0 for 3 against us. And thank you, Radioactive. Buddy Hepburn, thank you for thanking him. And hello, Aviaki. I love the talk that Tommy had with God when he was driving. We just mentioned that part. If you go back a few minutes on a rewatch, you can hear us talk about it. What we said was like, he had called out God in frustration in an ironic way before that was non-blasphemous. And then he was still not being blasphemous, but he pulled it twice in one day. So God was like, this accident that was going to happen, we're going to have you in the middle of it. And you're going to see some crazy stuff. And that like just adds like a little bit of high octane fuel, forgive the analogy, to Tommy wanting to, change his life and taking some new paths. And cool avatar. Thank you for joining the chat, and thank you for joining the channel. Welcome aboard. Episode 10 of Landman managed to maybe raise the entire season up. They had been in trouble, but I did think that we got a long way tonight. So Galeno hands him his check, and he's like, look, if I give the money that I that I gave to Cammy, which is 10 times more. If I lose that, big deal. But if I lose this, I'm going to hold you personally responsible because you're responsible for all of this, because I only went into business with her because of you, to which I say, for God's sake, Andy, that if that's the only reason, you should have insisted that Cammy keep him as president. But be that as it may, he's like, I like your own little venture here where you have a producing oil patch. This one sounds like a much more surefire deal. And you already know how dangerous I am, and you're willingly asking me for the money rather than doing this legit because you're going for broke. And you've got your own little slightly less insane Rube Goldberg machine than Monty's. You've taken Monty's plan, and you've just taken 2 crazy steps back from the other parts of it. This is basically the same plan as Monty without the 2 more crazy steps. Am I right, guys? I know I have this money. I'll borrow the money and use that to make the money, and I'll speculate with what I have.
Well, it's Monty's plan minus the federal tax fraud and maybe another dozen felonies.
Right, it's only laundering drug money. There's only one huge felony here. No, this is a clean deal for this show. Radio, what did you think?
Oh, yeah, I'd like this scene. This was a good scene.
Galito is a very, very powerful bad guy, but maybe this is one Germ would answer. Is he giving off Thomas Rainwater energy, Germ?
A little bit, but there's a distinct difference.
You never got the impression Thomas might just get so angry he would kill Kevin Costner.
I think this is more like Godfather energy by the end of the scene.
He gives him the kiss of death or the kiss of fate, whatever you want to call it. And it's pretty cool because it's like, we got this, and here's the check. Guys, try to copy the numbers off of that. No, don't do it because we know for sure they're fake. Not that you should ever do that anyway, but they show us the check. You can write in 3 different languages. And I don't know if the numbers are in Mexican, Spanish, English, or American, but there's the check. Someone will be able to decipher it. And, they have the stare down here like the 2 boxers that they are. It's like, you take this money, go speculate. But if you fuck up, the first thing I'm going to take from you is what you love, indicating that he's ready to make a human barbecue out of Ainsley or Angela if anything goes wrong. Hey, John. What did you think, Krimon?
Good thing he doesn't love Cooper.
RRTNZ might be right about this one. I would tend to agree, especially his look.
I mean, it's definitely one of those ones where Cooper better really be grateful that his family kind of treats him like the lovable idiot.
I know Cooper would be the last one to die.
Right?
Once he gets rid of Tommy, he has to have somebody to try to recoup the money.
Well, he's kind of like Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. It's like you don't need Heisenberg if you have Oil Savant or Meth Savant, right? You just need Land Boy to go find more oil. It's like, go get him, boy. Go find more oil. But this is where Andy Garcia decides to be a good idea to kiss Tommy on both cheeks, which for some reason Tommy is only just so weirded out by. But does he leave the office and have another moment where he trips out again, Germ, right?
That's where he takes the aspirin.
Yeah. And we think that maybe we cut a heart attack scene.
I think it's ending at the way his buddy, because remember he was taking all those.
Monty was chomping down aspirin left and right.
He was chomping down that aspirin left and right before he had that heart attack at the end of the season.
Well, now he's in as deep as Monty, isn't he? So
yes, he is.
Yeah.
Landman gets on the plane.
Season 3.
It does. That's the stakes, I think, for part of the stakes for season 3. He gets on the plane, and as we can see, Colin Fiora showing his range here. Now he's overjoyed, and we find out about this new company, CTT Oil Exploration and Cattle Farming. And he's like, why? He's like, I need a name so stupid no one else would have it. I didn't have time to do the research. Just do this and deposit the money. And Allie Larder looking pretty weird here. Let's give her a moment to look beautiful. She looked really beautiful in this episode, I thought. I thought that this was maybe the prettiest and softest they've allowed her to look. They've been backing up the meanness and bile that this character has every episode. The last time she was mean, it was in service of protecting her kids. So a little bit nicer and a lot less motivated by greed than she was at the beginning of the season. She's willing to, like, right now you're thinking like she'll live in the poorhouse with Tommy. Like she'd rather be rich. She'll do a lot of things to stay rich, but if they end up in the poorhouse, she's gonna razz him for it every day. But she's gonna be there. She loves him. Meanwhile, at the police station, things still not going very well at all. And I noticed this police station doesn't look that much different if we took down the glass wall than the hallway that Harrison Ford talked about how Alexandra was the greatest person in the world. We might be reusing the set here.
No, it's the same set as the hospital from last season.
It also is the same set as the hospital from last season. And it was also the office suite where Rebecca did her takedown. But we have a meeting of all the principal law enforcement. This is the county sheriff. This is the county DA. This is, of course, Tommy Landman having his little meltdown. These are our two questionable at best cops. And on the other side of the desk is our chief of police. We don't know who's taking what from who here. We know that the county is on the MTech payroll and friendly to Tommy. Then I don't know if they know that Tommy's fired yet. The county doesn't want to prosecute. The city does. But the city's case is really weak, and what Rebecca said really sent some shockwaves to this. The chief obviously thought this was a layup that needed no extra thought. He's a bad cop in general just for not being principled enough in his investigation of the crime. So, whatever. He's just a bad cop by dereliction of duty. But he ends up deciding, hey, you know what? County's got no problem. I guess the city's got no problem. And maybe we'll just let this go. And he's like, you're goddamn right. Tommy leaves and pops a few more aspirin. Gets into the MTEX truck. And he makes it to Ariana's. They have a conversation about what happened and the ultimate fate of the guy who attacked her. And basically, she doesn't know what to make of it. Tommy's like, don't worry about it. Goes out in the backyard, talks to Cooper, who's mowing the lawn like a good Texan. And he tells him not to worry about it. And also, don't tell anyone, including your wife, that you feel like you might be guilty again. Because, hey, who knows what's going to happen down the road? You just don't want to get into a conversation with anybody about how you feel bad about this or how maybe he didn't deserve it. Fuck him. It's in your past. It's over. This is not only good legal advice, but this is good life advice. And one of the things that Tommy has said is bothering him is that he thinks that this will really bother Cooper for a long time because he's not a killer. He's not a cold-blooded son of a bitch. I think everyone here knows that Tommy's probably killed a person or two in his time. What did you guys think of his advice to Cooper and his little talk here to his son? Jump ball.
Well,
everybody's
I think I think he should have. I guess he did enough just to tell his son to shut the hell up because we all know Cooper's kind of stupid. I think it's good legal advice and trying to get him to at least realize, well, you really didn't do anything wrong. I don't blame the kid.
You should stop thinking about it in those terms. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That's a crazy story the cops told you.
Yeah, well, they're just doing. I wouldn't even say they're doing their job. They're just trying to be a bunch of dicks. But whatever.
Okay, thank you, Landman. Radioactive. What did you think?
Well,
he is in a
Cooper's obviously feeling a little bit of remorse for what happened, and
which
of
is
course,
normal, as wrong as that guy was.
Yeah, and he's also stressed out. I think after he realized he wasn't just going in for just a series of casual questions, that they were going to play good cop, bad cop on him and try to
put him away for life, or maybe give him a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
Texas.
also this whole little subplot here is somewhat of interesting social commentary on what's been going on in the real world. So
he really
without going
stick
into
the
details.
landing and got lucky with making 2 social commentaries. Last week's gender commentary, and the person happened to be an activist-minded person from Minnesota. Just clicked. It was a different set of topics, but it clicked. It worked out good for him. And yeah, this week, some of these things are a little bit in the news. So he's like, don't be an asshole, and grab the wife, the kid, and the dog. Let's go. And he has this big meeting with all the principals that are still around, and the people who don't need to be there aren't there. Charlie's not there because he's out to sea. He either works for MTEX or he's going to find out about this later. I'm not too sure who owns the Shallow Water Horizon anymore.
He may find out
MTEX.
about it later.
Yeah, they're gonna season 3. He's gonna come back, and all this is gonna affect him and Rebecca's relationship.
That's my guess as well. All right, so Sam Elliott, everyone is there. All of our principals. We've got Dale, we've got Nathan, we've got Boss, we've got Boss's crew, we've got Rebecca, we've got Cheyenne, we've got Sam, we've got Nathan. Everyone's there. Cooper's there. And he's like, look, here's the deal. I got X amount of money. I now own the lease. I'm the landman on this lease, and I'm going to be hunting leases and looking for money the way I used to. And I don't care. I feel great about it. Dale, this is your job. Nathan, this is your job. Rebecca, this is your job. And here we are. We are wild, we are a wildcat, fucking roughneck oil drilling operation. One of the smallest companies in Texas, but we got the biggest patch. We got the most lucrative part of the patch. We found a way to crack. We've decoded how to get more oil out of the patch. And I know everybody here. So we're pretty damn set. And Sam Elliott's like, I can't help. And he's like, actually, Pop, you can totally direct the drilling from the from the multi-drill wells. And he's like, I can't climb up the ladder and operate that anymore. He's like, hell, Dad, you do it at home with a joystick. And he's like, I don't know what that is. And he's like, don't worry, Cheyenne does. So even the dancer works for the company now. They're all one big happy. Everybody loves it. And that's how we end our season. Everybody's pretty happy. We've got our new company called CTT Oil and Cattle. Here's our CTT employees. Everybody's real happy. And the only major omission is that we forgot to give Ariana a job. We make the mistake of telling her she's a secretary, forgetting for a minute that she's a Hispanic woman. And she gives him a real dirty look. He's like, okay, office manager. And I don't think that affects her pay. She's just like, don't you dare call me a secretary. And
no, the office manager is just to take dictation from the president.
She's taking dictation from the
president. She might take notes.
Sure. And the president
That's
is
right.
Cooper.
And Tommy is vice president, unless, as Tommy puts it, my son decides to fire me. And they're all real happy. And we step away from Landman season 2 after a conversation between Allie Larder and Tommy, where they affirm that they love each other and she's ready to take the risks. And here's a perfect picture of Allie Larder. She's got the crazy woman eyes, but she's softened them just a little bit. And now she looks like someone who might just stand by your side and be loving to you. I guess she showed range, or the damage control worked. And, with our 2 most important characters here, reaffirming that they love each other and that he's not going to crawl back into a bottle. And hey, stick around for season 3. That's our Landman for this week and for this season. Absolutely incredible. And I thought it was quite an episode. And that's what I'll give it to our panel to start asking around. But first, let's take a look at what we've got going on with our poll. The poll was put up before the show. I thought I put it up. Did I? Is this still? This is still your channel.
You
I have to go back to my channel. No,
it's
I was over
still,
at Germ's channel.
You put it up. It's on there.
The poll is up, and there's some Viagra on it. It's highly smokable. Okay, 14 votes. Not overly scientific, but hey, TNZ with a $2 New Zealand super chat says Sheridan stuck the landing with Landman. Nice one. Yeah, I think this was an excellent recovery. He's still guilty of filler material mid-season. There are still some episodes that had to be redeemed by this ending, but he did redeem the ending. Let's see what our audience thought. What grade do you give Landman season 2? A full 50% gave it an A. 29% gave it a B. So 89%, just about 90% of our audience thought this was high quality television. C, 14%, D, F, 7%. Some people just didn't like it. Well, we thank everyone, especially the people who didn't really like it, for sticking with us for our Landman journey. I'm going to let the poll run while we discuss it. But thank you very much, RRTNZ, for your generous super chat. And that's the question that we're going to ask. What did you guys think of this final episode? And what do you guys think of this season? And what grade do you give it? We'll start with Grimlon. Landman, what do you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a great ending. I don't think it was perfect. I feel like certain portions were rushed towards the end, but overall, I think it was a great ending, and I think they did stick it. I would definitely give it A minus.
You are muted.
Good job, Teague.
Thank you, Germ. Boomer Teague strikes again. All right. Yeah, A minus. We won't nail you down. That's fine. Good enough. Let's move to Radioactive. Radioactive, what did you think of this season and how we ended it here in this episode 10? What was your opinion? And would you give it? Oh, wait, Quimon, is that your episode grade or your season grade?
That was episode grade.
What's your season grade?
I'll give it an A.
Wow, they redeemed themselves from that being lost there for a little while. Huh?
Yes, they definitely did.
It was worth going on the journey through the land of the lost. All right, well, Radioactive's up next. Radioactive, what'd you think? And your episode and season grades for Landman, episode 10, season 2.
I will give the episode an A. If for no other reason than who knew they were going to fold in the origin story, the Hydrocarbon Avengers, so well from the comics.
Good point.
Right?
It is.
I mean,
so you thought it was an A?
Yeah.
They are the Hydrocarbon Avengers. Maybe if they had gotten superpowers from the gas leak, we would be closer to it. But what's your episode grade on this one?
Episode, I will say A. Season, after a lot of thinking, maybe I might downgrade to an A minus. But
B plus A minus territory.
Maybe A minus territory overall. I mean, I know overall, I pretty much, if I accumulated all the grades of each episode, I think it should probably be an A. But then there's some things where I have second thoughts on that maybe might push it into A minus territory. But it's nitpicking.
All right. So A minus again, with a split decision in the mind of the judge. Let's go with Resolute Germ. My good friend, what did you think of this journey through Landman? 20 episodes now.
This episode was definitely an A+. All the acting was good. The story came together pretty much the way I think they wanted it to. Barring that it was originally written, I believe, to end the series in this episode. But they're able to adjust it to give it an opening. So I liked it a lot. Overall for the season, I do downgrade it a little bit to just a flat A. Because that mid part did sink a bit, but they really did pick up at the end.
Okay. So your episode grade is an A plus and your season grade is a flat A. Anything you'd like to say? Was there a high point to this season? Something that you're going to take with you that you remember?
I think the final episode was the high point. They got everything set up very nicely for season 3.
Wow.
Ainsley actually has something to grow into next season, and the new company would be quite an adventure. See where they're going.
High praise from Germ, who is skewing skeptical. Wes Kegels here. Hello, Wes Kegel. Sir, we're talking about the final season of Landman. I'm going to give the season an A minus, but I'm going to give this episode an A plus for raising this season from a C plus B minus. We were so lost for a couple of episodes that we were just, the thing about the show that kept it going was that these were interesting bad people. These were interesting bad people. Even when the show seemed a little bit lost in episodes 6 and 7, and we had Cooper repeating the same task, like asking one person after another if he could marry Ariana, who is so damn independent, she could care less what anyone but herself thinks about whether this is happening. Okay, so like why we did that, I don't know. Germ seems to have been right with the drop plot line with Ainsley. If we had gone too mean or too strong for too long with Ainsley and not redeemed her, we might not have had anything to work with. I think at the other side of the Ainsley equation, we have seen her come out a stronger character than the mean-spirited, brother-hating, manipulative Angela Jr. that she was. And then maybe we're finding out that Angela is finding some authenticity that she had earlier in life or some wisdom that she's lacked until now. Tommy also showing some wisdom. TC finally getting some happiness. Out of all the messages in this story, the relationship between TC and Cheyenne is the one I approve of the most because I'm a dirty old man and I want that message out there. They're all adults, so it doesn't matter. Go for it. But I thought it was a great ending episode. It got the last 2 episodes got this show back on the rails in a big way without rocking the boat too much. Most of the turbulence was mid-season. If you stuck with it, you got an excellent payoff. This is the best job of damage control I've ever seen professional writers do. And I would just say the one to kick around, jump ball for my panel, as I say, A+ for the episode, A for the season, raising up the entire season from what would have been a B- C+. High points, low points, and what you remember, anything about this season that sticks in your mind. Was it as good as season 1? Open discussion now for a little while on Landman. We'll give it a few minutes.
I'd say it's not quite as good as season 1, but still very, very good, especially considering what's out there today.
Yeah, to that point, a shockingly good season 2 like we never get. Season 2 usually seems to be a disaster. I heard season 2 of Fallout is a complete disaster. Season 2 of House of the Dragon was a nightmarish disaster. I had 2 good episodes and 1 more sprinkled out throughout the series. Season 2 of 1923, that one almost completely wrecks up and repair work saves it and makes it serviceable. This seems like the guy who made 1923 spent a lot of time thinking about it. No dead-end storyline that was just a dark distraction with Tiona. I thought this was an improvement from 1923.
Yeah, definitely an improvement.
I'm excited for season 3 too. What do you think, Radioactive? You've been here for the long haul of this. Compared to season 2 in 1923, which was their finale season.
Oh, this is night and day difference. Honestly, it's night and day difference. I mean, you can kind of tell they had like some sort of production issues behind the scenes, and the show was kind of disjoint, at least from a storyline perspective. So they didn't have things ironed out. The Pirate Dinner seems Yellowstone, to be the most 1923.
The Pirate Dinner seems to be the most wrecked up episode with the most signs of repairs, and it is also, I think, the shortest.
Yeah, just to say generically, there were issues in that show. I mean, it had some good points. The acting was great. It wasn't an issue with the actors or how they delivered the material they were given.
Just some of the experiments maybe a little dark, like the old folks' home, like just a little too crass and dark.
Oh, you mean in terms of Landman?
Yeah, like some of the things. And Taylor Sheridan learning on the fly, right? Because here's the thing: Yellowstone considered a terrible ending, although now we find out all storylines continue in the Madison and Marshalls. 1923 considered a mediocre ending with a decent repair job. And with this one, my feeling is like he only shot about half his final episode, knowing he might have to do some active repairs on the way, with Rebecca's hair length being the tell for when we did reshoots, because everyone else's look is pretty consistent.
I didn't even notice the hair length.
It was shorter in those weird episodes with the fixes.
Go figure.
It's shorter when it's with Charlie.
Yeah, he's the only one.
I'm the one who watches the episodes the most.
No, you're just paying it. You're the only one paying attention to her hair. I mean, that says more about you. But
my job is to look for continuity errors. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's okay if hair's your thing.
There you go. That's what it is. Hair's my thing. I want to follow Rebecca to the stylist and get some of her hair. I want some of Kayla Wallace's hair.
That's right, girlfriend.
A sniff.
You
a sniff.
You tell us all, girlfriend.
This is a legitimate take, because it was trending towards a B+, and if you didn't love the payoff and the repair job, you didn't have to. The detectives were unrealistically and overt about being on the take for me. The detective storyline seems like it had been compressed. I'm gonna be honest. I think maybe that the assault behind the Patch Cafe might have happened a little earlier, like one episode earlier. But that guy had nothing going for him. He criminally trespassed to attack someone. He had no right to even be there. So he was in the wrong the whole time. Their legal way of trying to work this out was just absolutely pretzel
Stupid.
Legality. No.
Yep.
I don't shake hands with imaginary people either.
Yes, he does.
Fuck you, Criminal. All right, everybody. We'll keep this one to an approachable to a very approachable 2 hours by going with Criminal on highs and lows of the season, and then you get to give your predictions for season 1 as season 3 as everyone gives their predictions for season 3. We'll go bottom to top.
I think it started off pretty well, and I think the lows, were the storylines that just made no sense. You know what I'm talking about? Where
the crash and burn old folks home correctional tale.
Yeah,
the truck crash that never gets explained.
Exactly, and then it just seemed like there was a lot of filler in 1 or 2 episodes, and then all of a sudden it started slightly correcting, and then at least it ended on a high note. So I think I'll agree with you. I'll probably put it down to an A- on this one, not an A.
I just think the filler was interesting as hell, and I admired their job at that. They made 2 episodes out of pure plaster of Paris. There wasn't a ton of substance there. They were circling around, and they still managed not to break their story and keep the episodes themselves interesting. I like watching these terrible human beings. Anybody else?
Oh no, that was great. I mean, I'm just more impressed with the fact that you could tell it was a dead spin through mid-season, and then they managed to correct it towards the end. You don't get that a lot. I think Germ hit it nail right on the head with today's Hollywood writers. You don't see anyone ever being able to correct anything by the end of a season. It just
Alex Kurtzman doesn't admit he's wrong, right? Yeah. So that doesn't get fixed. A lot of these people, we're told, walk after the show's over with no thought about what's going to happen once it streams. And it seems like Taylor Sheridan now has learned a few lessons, and he's like, every couple of months, I got to take a week off and check back in on my streaming shows, make sure they're not going totally off the rails. I've had a couple of problems, and I don't want to get a bad rep in my industry. I'm a good storyteller. I don't want to be wrecked up by a bad ending to Yellowstone, which I got more credit for than the courts ended up giving me, because this is what's going on with Yellowstone, guys. They had a bunch of creators, and if they didn't work this out themselves, then some arbitrator had to sit down and be like, this is 85% your character, you get to keep it, but you have to pay him this much, and this is 60% your character, you're gonna have to pay a lot more if you want to keep it, or this guy could buy it for even more than that. Or they agreed. It seems to me the best I can tell is each writer-creator took their characters and walked away. And the question is, which show of the next 2 Yellowstones and Taylor Sheridan endeavors do we want to get in on? Do we want to do Marshall's, or the Madison is in March?
Marshall's, I believe, begins March 1st. I'm not sure about Madison.
March 14th.
Kind of interested in Marshall's.
I'm kind of interested in Marshall's as well. The Madison looks far soapier and less Taylor Sheridan, doesn't it?
I've seen a lot less about that one.
Yeah, I think
it's Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell.
No thanks.
Nope. But the good news is Marshall's does start on March 1st, so that's the perfect thing to slide into this time frame.
I like Kurt Russell. I just the Michelle Pfeiffer. No thanks.
Well, she's no longer Catwoman. That's the problem.
Yeah, she did the one good thing and then kind of fell apart.
The thing is, because she was so beautiful, she's in a lot of forgettable movies like Grease 2. But the thing is, because she's so beautiful, she got to be in a lot of movies and learn how to act. I think she could probably deliver a powerful performance. But I don't know that the Madison is going to be more than a family drama. And I think that, was it Radioactive who guessed that he thinks that maybe it's the descendants of Liz who went back east? Because they come from New York.
I thought that was your guess.
It might have been Germs then. It wasn't my guess.
It was your guess, Teague.
Wow! All right, my brilliant
deduction
that it might be people coming back from the east.
Yeah, it was Land Kremlin that did it.
Yeah,
I would never have any of these good ideas if I didn't have a great panel to kick it around with. I'm going to be honest. Most normal human beings don't indulge conversations on Star Trek or Landman. So since we're not normal human beings and we welcome our exceptionally awesome guests, take the poll. Try the veal. We're stuck at 15 votes. If you want to try to move the needle on that poll, now is the time. If forever hold your peace. Krimlon, predictions for next year?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't take poll. I give it. But predictions predictions for the show or predictions for
this show?
Oh, goodness. I think he's going to start going down the same path his friend did. I think the signs of a heart attack and other things are about to happen, especially with the last conversation he had with his wife in the vehicle about something potentially could happen to him in the future. I think that is a good foreshadow.
Okay. Radioactive predictions for season 3 of Landman coming in like 15 years, or coming in about a year, we hope.
Well, my predictions are kind of out the window because I thought I knew where things were going after episode 9, and I didn't see them. Diving back into the origin story of Hydrocarbon Avengers.
Okay, so what you're saying is this show will continue to surprise you? Is that your prediction?
Well, well, I mean, it depends. I mean, there's obviously they can just go back into Amazing Landman comics and pull out great stories from there.
Yes, source materials there.
But well, I don't know.
Or Jack Kirby rendering. It's a Kirby accurate Landman, isn't it?
Yeah, or maybe they'll go with one of the Hydrocarbon Avengers story arcs, but we'll have to wait and see because obviously
we'll find out.
Well, yeah, because obviously with Cammy out of the picture and MTech's out of the picture,
Landboy can have his origin tale, and he can become a Landman in himself and join the Landman Corps.
That's right, the Land Corps, the Land Corps,
the Landman Corps, the Green Landman Corps. All right.
So I'm not sure what to say because I thought they were going to extend the trial into next year, the season, I should say.
I was surprised that they were able to cut that short so fast. That was like a repeat of the I'm sending you to jail for life last year's season ender to the criminals.
Exactly. They wrapped that up like this year. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect them to not flesh out the rest of the Wrath of Khan story arc.
Right.
You know, we expected them to go to the Botany Bay oil rig, and they never ended up there.
The Botany Bay oil rig is still in transit, and anything could happen. And everyone came out of it in one piece. We didn't. Nobody, like aside from Andy Garcia at the end of last season, like nobody outright got murdered for the hell of it. We just had a bunch of pig hunters die. All right, so Germ, do you have any predictions for next season?
I think we're gonna follow up with the way I see it. They're gonna start the season off with a wedding. I don't know if it's Cooper or Tommy, but there is gonna start off with maybe a double wedding.
How about TL and Cheyenne?
I think you're the only one on that kick.
Teague, as long as it's not Ainsley and Pigeon or Pagan or whatever her name is.
Pagan, yeah.
Teague's just hopeful that something like that will happen to him in his life. That's why he's pushing for it so hard.
Yeah, I want it normalized. I'm like that guy who goes around with low power batteries and puts them in other people's smoke detectors so I can normalize it.
Oh God.
I forgot to ask German Radioactive if there was a high point of the season that they remember. Germ, I think, said it was the final episode, or was it Kremlin who said that? Kremlin said it was the final episode. Which is a great high point to have if you're going to have.
Well, it's definitely a great high point. I think the other one is one that we've talked about repeatedly because it just keeps coming up in conversation, and that is the Ainsley college counselor scene from, I think, episode 2. Maybe it was episode 1.
So it was. I think it was 2. I'm not sure. It was hilarious though. That was hilarious. And that woman gets Best Supporting Actor for this series with her reactions to Ainsley. She had the best reactions. Her face when Ainsley started dumb. I would be fascinated to hear your take on that. That was great.
Yeah. The low point was definitely the old folks.
The
old folks storyline didn't go the way it was supposed to.
Although dropping it by episode 4 on a high point where they're only gambling and having fun, and Angela shows them a good time, that's not despicably gross.
That was
the best way to walk away.
Yeah,
from
that wasn't that bad. That part wasn't bad. It was some of the. There's a couple other cringy things that they
when
did.
They gave her the anal intruder for her birthday.
Yeah, that was
crazy crap like that.
Yeah, that was out of place. I think that was. I mean, not only from say the show perspective, but it wasn't to me. They weren't. This my big problem with the way they were treating the seniors with what I would call disrespect. They weren't
There's a smutty storyline too.
Yeah, and
Taylor Sheridan will make an experiment, and he's not afraid to be dark. But this time, he was like, "This is too fucking much. I'm gonna get rid of this one. We'll give them one good day where they look normal, and we'll walk away." Which was, I guess, I'm gonna say that was the right thing to do, because we had definitely gone too far with the old people, and that was what most of the outcry centered around the old folks home. By the way, most of the outcry was Ainsley, Angela, and Shelby, who just disappeared after that. People hated those characters for a while. I think they've saved them. So the high point of the season for me would be saving these characters in the final episode too. And yeah, the low point was probably the old folks home the first time when it was still too gross. They just didn't have the mix right. Taylor Sheridan is showing growth as an artist by leaving room to do these reshoots and showing versatility by he either thought of a second path to go by or just brilliantly realigned his characters. He was able to end up with believable progressions in these characters. They're supposed to arc anyway, so if you have a few of them wrong, that's just part of their journey. He took this in stride and wrote a good show. I'm looking forward to season 2, and I'm excited. Well, anybody who only likes Landman, I guess we'll see you in November, but I would advise you to check us out on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. for our Star Trek show, where we're still doing Star Trek Enterprise. And for the hell of it, I'll let the Landman guys, first of all, a promotion ceremony. Everybody direct your attention to the StreamYard screen. And I call to the front of the stage, Radioactive and Krimlon. Germ, do you have the insignias of rank?
I have them.
Please,
but I do.
Yeah, what is this?
Please give Krimlon and Radioactive their comm badges as they have been promoted to backup members of the Star Trek panel and will now be on any Star Trek show that falls short of 3 people. Yes,
all right.
Part of the Star Trek panel.
Wow.
Too. You have been promoted to Admiral Teague, full lieutenant. You're full commanders now. No more JG. You're full lieutenant commanders.
So we're higher than Harry Kim.
Yes.
Yeah,
you've
we're
already been promoted
04s.
above Hyakin. Yes.
We're 04s now.
Congratulations. We turn up the pixelation and the food replicators in your cabin, and everyone gets ice cream tonight. Guys, it's been a great ride with Landman. I thank everybody. Hey, you know what? We couldn't have done it without you. You guys have been a fantastic audience. We think this episode will probably do better than the others, and maybe the ones in the middle. They're worth checking out. We give you a good breakdown of every one of them and good reactions. We've done, I think, under Germ's the very, very on point advice. The 2 hours was anything more than that, just a little too long than this. We've kept almost everyone to 90 minutes, which is pretty close to their runtime. And I want to congratulate my panel for just being so great and doing such a great job. As we hit 2 hours, I thank everyone. Landman is brought to you by the genius of Taylor Sheridan. We end the poll. The final results, our audience felt that what grade do you give Landman Season 2? A, 44%. B, 38%. C, 13%. D, F, 5%. So C got a little more chubby there over the course of debate. We only picked up one more vote. So really about 92% of our 82% of our audience thought that this was high quality TV. So I'm really satisfied and really happy that you guys enjoyed the ride. Hello, Space Daddy 5163. It's good to see you. I'm glad we gave you a laugh. Welcome. And like I said, give us a try back for Star Trek. And it looks like Marshalls. Go to the community posts tab. I'll post there and see what people think about Marshalls. But it looks like you can pretty much depend on Marshalls being an Admiral Teague show that we're going to do we'll do some breakdowns on. One of these days, people will want Taylor Sheridan video essays. That never has worked out. We'll do a video essay for Star Trek in the next couple of weeks. The Forge trilogy is probably worth it because it's such a lore important thing. And guys, now that you are commanders in the Star Trek fleet, do you want to give your opinion of what you saw last night in the Forge Part 1 real quick? What did you think? You liking the story?
Yes.
Good enough.
Here's a can I ask a very controversial
I saw
question?
it. Go ahead and ask the question.
Are you going to cover any more of Hogwarts?
It looks like yes. It looks like yes.
Whoa, that's interesting.
It was very controversial, but here's the deal: the whole crew wanted to do it. Everyone wanted a piece of it. Like
everyone wants to be in the agonizer booth.
Everyone,
on behalf of the crew, we're gonna have to talk about some not compensation, 5 hours again. Vengeance.
The vengeance is kicking Kurtzman's corpse while his TV corpse is there. His TV career is a corpse now. He is finished. We've burned him in effigy while he had a career, and now we are kicking him while he's down the way he kicked the fans.
Do I dare?
Go ahead.
Do I dare ask, have you seen the second episode of that yet?
No, I hear it's
an episode.
Shit. I thought the first thing we saw was two episodes welded together because there's an ending in the at the half-hour point. And by the way, RRTNZ does make a valid point. We might have some recency bias, but I did back up the fact that if you go back and look at every single episode of this, what was my lowest grade? Did I give one a B minus?
I gave a B minus.
No one was there one C out there among one person for one episode? Was the second proposal episode given a C by Kremlin?
I think, I think Kremlin, you did give it a C, didn't you? Gave one.
That one might have been C. What there was one that was it was tough not to call it anything but a B minus or a C plus or C, even a C. I think it was episode 6.
Maybe
you have to read this comment from JT. He speaks for all of us when he says this.
Yeah, you know what? The check is in the mail. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have gold-plated Latinum. It's coming to everybody.
I'm still waiting for my milk and
Teague, please stop using copyrighted material. Unable to comply.
Never.
I'm waiting for my milk and cookies I was promised, but that's been a while.
Listen, man, it takes a long time for someone to walk from New York to where you are with milk and cookies. Guys, we'll be back probably in March. We'll definitely be back in March, probably with Marshalls. We're looking forward to it. We thank every one of you. You are the best. It's brought to you by the genius of Taylor Sheridan, the dedication of this panel, to which, again, I have to thank Jerm again for hosting all these watch parties. He only missed one in all this time. 10 episodes. Sir, you served above and beyond the call of duty. And also, this has been brought to you by the love and the support of generous fans like you, including Ruby Hoove, JT Kirk, RRTNZ, and Radioactive. You are all absolute mad lads, except Ruby Hoove, who's a wonderful, wonderful lady. And I thank you all for helping me bring you more quality entertainment and show you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and some people making some content that isn't woke. I mean, this guy did not have to dunk on anybody. He was even-handed about everything. He discussed all topics, and none of us found any offense in it. We're like, yeah, when someone puts it to you this way and talks to you like you have in a respectful and intelligent way, it's pretty good. And the one thing I would say that puts this series head and shoulders above the rest, have you noticed that aside from when we were lost, we don't constantly repeat information so people don't get lost? They trust us to remember stuff. I feel respected by this creator. We need more people like this. All right. Well, thank you all very much. And you have certainly earned a little Sydney Sweeney. But first, why did I do this?
Because I can.
Last-minute super chat, almost thrown under the door. Defiance, yes, sir. Thank you. I love seeing that beautiful picture of Patton and the sirs. You know what? We're going to keep on coming at you with quality Star Trek. The Forge, the second part. The Forge trilogy is a lot of fun. Part 2 is going to be fun. I can't wait for the watch party for that. I can't wait to see you all. And it looks like Jerm and I will be back on Tuesday. And maybe we'll ask Tachyon to come back, or maybe it's time to call someone like our pal. We haven't seen White Bear, and we haven't seen the Gourd King in a while, who's now known as Papa Pumpkin. So that should be fun. We bid you all good night with the Dance of Salome as performed by the beautiful Sydney Sweeney. Here she is.